I'm issuing a major warning out now. This is first on this channel, and you haven't heard it anywhere else yet. Major milk shortage will be inbound shortly. If you need to stock up on milk, this is the time to do it. Canned milk, powdered milk, all those things, get it while you can. It looks like this will take a while for this shortage to sort out, so get moving now. California and the feds are apparently going to be messing with milk the same way that they've been messing with eggs. So you take that for what it's worth. We're also going to be covering some other things in today's update. We're going to be giving you an update on Syria, an update from Walmart CEO on what inflation will look like this next year. We have another major hen culling, and we also are going to be talking about a whole nation's election being nullified. We got reports and updates from all over. Let's get into it. Welcome, Watchmen, to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar, and this is the news that the mainstream media doesn't want to cover. We are of and for and by the viewers. Keep watching and share your updates by commenting with the word update. Before we dive in, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people who have retirement accounts. If you have a retirement account in Canada, the United States, you might be able to move some or all of that over into gold, silver, or platinum. Physical metals in a vault that you actually take distribution of them, not cash. If you want to find out more, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Yes, those guys. Immediately are going to mandate bird flu testing of the national milk supply. They've been doing spot tests of bird flu on chickens, and we've culled millions upon millions upon millions of chickens. And that's caused the egg shortage. These chickens weren't dead. Were they even positive for bird flu? We don't know. Or was it just bureaucrats being bureaucrats? Well, we're going to find out as they play that same game with the cattle herd in the United States. No milk is exempt from this mandate. Feds now have the authority to test any milk at the farms, at any farm, and we'll get back to that one, or in transport or at processing sites. So they can go to any farm and start testing. They can stop any truck transporting milk and test that, apparently, or train or whatever. And they can go to any processing site in the United States and start testing for bird flu. They've already started launching it in Pennsylvania, California, Colorado, Michigan, Mississippi, and Oregon. Apparently, they're going to broaden that in the coming weeks. And just to kind of give you an idea of where this might just be headed, because those bureaucrats, they don't look up to anyone quite like they do to the California folks, right? The EPA, the Department of Agriculture, they think they think California has really got it together. So let's see what California has been doing here. Earlier this week, California health officials detected possible bird flu contamination in raw milk and cream products from the company Raw Farm, based in Fresno. Several of its products are under recall, and the farm has been placed under quarantine. Now, that may not sound too bad, but then let me just frame it a little bit differently. The California health officials, who hate raw milk and hate everything about that, they hate freedom in general, decided to target the farm, the company Raw Farm. They then, once they got a positive bird flu test, decided to place its farm under quarantine. Yeah. Did they start massacring all the cows? Well, it doesn't say that, but it's placed under quarantine. And financially, they could be doing the same thing. Now, if 1 out of 100 of those tests come back positive, false positive, and that's generous, and I come to your farm and I test 100 of your cows, what are the chances that one of them is going to test positive for bird flu, even if they don't actually have bird flu? And if you said, that sounds kind of shady. Yeah, then it's not really a question of whose farm has bird flu. It's really a matter of whose farm are we going to quarantine? Whose farm are we going to go after? And if you thought, gee, they're going to go after conservatives and libertarians and people who don't toe the line, you'd be absolutely correct. They have shown time and time again that's exactly what they do. So, what they've been doing to bird flu with the chickens, they're going to do now to everyone with cattle. And here's the difference. I keep saying, it takes a while to replace these egg-laying hens because it takes 6 months from hatching to laying their first egg. You know how long it takes to go from birth to giving milk from a cow? Yeah, it's longer. Let's just put it that way. It's a lot longer. It takes a while to build up the cattle herd. All right, let's move over to Syria, where almost as bad things are happening. Syrian rebel groups have pushed the Syrian army out of Hama, and next will be Homs that they're going to be moving in on. That's a major city on the ring around Damascus. Syrian army is in serious trouble. And Kurdish SDF forces are making gains in eastern Syria as they attempt to consolidate as much control as they can before the Turkish-backed groups in the west gain too much ground. Turkey is not a fan of Kurdish. Let's just put it that way. They would like to exterminate all the Kurdish militias, and they would like to subjugate the Kurds severely across the entire region. And so these Turkish-backed groups are an imminent threat, especially as they're propping up ISIS-type folks as well. Marburg, or bleeding eye virus, has spread from the Congo into Rwanda, which has resulted in the death of 15 there now. CDC and the WHO are monitoring. U.S. has now issued a travel advisory to Rwanda as well. We'll keep you informed as that happens, but when people start talking about doomsday viruses, they talk about Ebola, but oftentimes they also talk about Marburg. It has a very high fatality rate, and it spreads relatively easy. So this is a serious situation. They do need to contain that, and hopefully it doesn't spread anymore. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon at a conference just this week said he sees food inflation ticking up. Yep, even the CEO of Walmart sees what's coming as we head into 2025. But he noted that consumers have proven more resilient than retailers initially expected. They expected all of us to fold like a house of cards and stop eating. But I will point this. How much of that is the consumers actually still being able to afford the spending, and how much of that is just lots and lots more spending by food stamps? We've seen the food stamps program dramatically increased. Is it possible that what he sees as flatline are basically the millions of new people all armed with food stamp cards? Maybe, because everywhere I'm hearing from, everyone says they're tightening their belts up. They're buying less food. They're buying cheaper food. They're looking for alternatives because things have gotten so expensive. Speaking of things getting expensive, 1.7 million more egg-laying hens were put down on Thursday. Not on Wednesday, not yesterday on Friday, not this whole week, but on Thursday. Anyone want to guess which state that happened in? Well, those of you who knew it was California are right again. Serious problems. And it seems like all of the cullings recently have taken place in California. They're overzealous state enforcers are going after farms like nobody's business. And it's really having an impact on the egg market out there. A lot of you have been commenting on how you're seeing few eggs, or you're seeing egg prices exploding upwards. And this is just going to continue to make things worse. Romanian top court in Romania annulled the presidential election because the winner used TikTok. Now, I'm on board. I get it. TikTok is an abomination. But as of yet, it is not a crime. So apparently we're defending no elections in Ukraine and redoing elections in Romania because we don't like the results. Go America, defending democracy, yay. Not to mention we're supporting the attempted overthrow of the democratically elected Georgian government. But we're not going to talk about that one either because I'm getting in all sorts of trouble with the powers that be on this platform. They do not like me talking about a bunch of this stuff, I think. Anyway, D says the cow fart medicine is very toxic to handle. But it's okay to feed to the cows, apparently. The sheer amount of precautions for handling the drug would lead one to question its food safety. Don't question the food safety of it. It's perfectly safe. Bill Gates told us so. The CDC, the people who, the Food and Drug Administration, the Department of Agriculture, all the people that are going to soon get very high-placed, high-ticket jobs over in the companies that they're inspecting, they told us it's safe. Lee says egg prices are going up here in South Texas. The shelves were empty or not fully stocked with eggs. Oh boy, here it comes. Also, supplements running out, especially those that help with low immunity or antioxidants like garlic, cherry, ginger. Actually sounds kind of tasty. Went to Specs, nothing at all in the refrigerators that usually have a few grocery products. Lamb says, folks, if you have Verizon Mobile, make sure that you are not being billed twice per month. Started around 6 months back for us. Verizon had me call the bank to stop auto payments. Ended up with a new debit card. Refund process is now underway. Thanks for your report. So do check to make sure you're not being billed twice if you have Verizon. That's a good thing to do every so often. It's easy to just let all your auto payments go, but you need to do it every couple months or something like that. You need to sit down, go through all of your credit card statements, all your bank statements or whatever, and just make sure you are aware of the money that's leaving your accounts. And sometimes you're going to find errors. And Verizon, I've watched this doing tax returns. I've gone through a lot of Verizon statements with like home internet and stuff like that. Comcast doesn't do it quite as much as Verizon, but I've watched where a person has some cable thing or something like that, and every single month it would go up but just a little bit. It'd go up just a little bit more, like 15, 20 cents every month. It would just increase every month. And it'll just keep increasing until you call them and be like, what are you doing? And then they'll be like, oh, we didn't know. They do that intentionally, friends. Watch your statements, know how much you're paying on things. Northern Nancy says, on December 5th, I went to Walmart. In the pharmacy area, picked up the last pack of generic mucus relief tablets. Regular mucus relief was also low as well. No beef bouillon or onion powder. Christmas decorations well stocked, but way up in price. You know when they're going to come on sale? December 26th. You can get stocked up for next year. Put that on your calendar, right? It's amazing. You're like always just so exhausted after Christmas, or you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm just done with Christmas. But it's like, that's the time to buy the wrapping paper. That's the time to buy whatever bulbs have blown out, you know, whatever strings of lights you need to replace. That's the time to do it. So I'll try to remind you after Christmas, okay, to go after those Christmas sales, because it saves you a lot of money, right? And you certainly don't want to be in the situation next year where you're like, I meant to fix that. I meant to get that replaced. All right. Trish, ER had health unit contact me to tell me that I was exposed to active TB, tuberculosis, while sitting in the waiting room. Had to get a blood test. Yeah, isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? We're getting tuberculosis when you just go to the ER these days. Infectious diseases that we haven't seen in generations just suddenly back in the United States. The Last Pirate says, here in Middle Georgia, several other hotels in our group have sold out through January because of others. Yes, others from other places. These are extended stay hotels with kitchens and suites. They are not receiving. They're not receiving a corporate discount like most of the guests, but they are being charged full price with higher deposits. The hotels have been paid 60 days in advance. This is madness, I say. Yeah, our government getting ripped off again for being stupid. Inefficiencies everywhere, friends. Miss Tricia says, FinCEN, the report that you need to send in, or at least they said you need to send in, that you don't need to send in anymore, the BOI report, is not just for businesses. HOA board members also are required to file the BOI. As a board member, I have no access to the community funds. Our management company writes the checks. As a board, we recommend a proposed budget, but the community members must approve it. I had not yet provided my personal info, but our management company was still asking for the info, just in case the act is reinstated. I declined on the basis that it is not settled law. I resent my government asking for my info in case I could be a money launderer or a terrorist. I'm a 68-year-old widow who just wants to help my community. But yet, aren't you the enemy? Because you probably don't like what the bureaucrats are doing. And so the bureaucrats have made us the enemy. SL says, I'm in Manchester, Maine. I was grocery shopping last night and at the only grocery store in town. The egg refrigerator was almost empty. I overheard an employee tell a customer that this was all the eggs he had. There was no more in the back, and they weren't sure when they would be getting more coming in. I grabbed a dozen. They were over $6. I'm a senior citizen, and I paid $75 for a very small amount of groceries. I've been shocked at the prices and have had to start using my saved stock to fill in. Thank you for your info. It's one of the only reasons I have supplies set back. We warn you guys, and those of you who have listened find yourself to be in a lot better position than your neighbors, right? Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but times look like they're going to be getting tougher in the future. Lori's Thrifty Kitchen says, Winter Haven, Florida. Hi, Steve. No half and half, no heavy cream or frozen pizzas at Aldi or on Kroger delivery. I'm on hospice care and I can't drive anymore, so I depend on my delivery people who usually do a great job with my groceries, but not today. Only half of my order came from Aldi because there was no product on the shelf to get for me. Kroger delivery almost always has half and half, but they were out as well. Thankfully, I stocked up on canned milk and canned my own milk, a Rebel canning project, a couple of years ago when it was cheap and plentiful. So I am going through some of my stock now. All right, friends. Thanks so much for watching and keeping track of what's going on out there and sending in your updates. Appreciate all of you. If you want to find out more about Genesis Gold and what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Until I see you guys again, probably this afternoon or tomorrow, God bless you all. Steve Poplar out.